It's the ultimate relationship paradox. On the surface, you tell yourself you want love, you want a partner, and you want a life shared with someone. You might even be a great dater, charming, witty, and engaging in the early stages when everything is light, casual, and non-threatening. But the moment that reality actually arrives, the moment someone gets too close, starts asking for more of your time, or makes things feel permanent, a switch flips. It's almost mechanical. It's like a biological defense system engaging without your conscious consent. Suddenly, you don't feel loved. You feel hunted. You don't feel seen. You feel watched. You start noticing every tiny flaw in your partner, the way they chew, the sound of their voice, their neediness, until the urge to escape becomes a physical necessity, like needing oxygen in a room that's running out of air. This isn't just cold feet. It's a deep-seated survival mechanism triggered by the very thing you thought you wanted: intimacy. If this sounds familiar, you aren't cold-hearted, you aren't a narcissist, and you aren't broken. You likely have an avoidant attachment style. Attachment theory tells us that our relational blueprint is formed in the first few years of life. For someone with avoidant attachment, their primary caregiver was often emotionally unavailable, dismissive of feelings, or even intrusive in a way that didn't respect the child's boundaries. Imagine a child who cries for comfort. In a secure environment, the parent responds with warmth. But for the avoidant child, the parent might have been consistently preoccupied, cold, or even angry that the child had needs at all. Perhaps the parent was physically there but emotionally distant, or perhaps they only rewarded the child when they were easy and quiet. Some parents explicitly reward strength and punish vulnerability. They tell a crying toddler to be a big boy or stop being so sensitive. The child learns a hard early lesson. Expressing needs leads to rejection, shame, or no response at all. They realize that the person they are supposed to rely on is not a safe harbor for their emotions. To survive emotionally, that child develops what we call hyper-independence. Since they can't rely on the outside world for comfort, they build an inside world. They stop asking. They stop reaching out. They learn to self-soothe. And most critically, they learn to suppress their internal attachment system. Psychologists call this defensive exclusion. The brain essentially cuts the wires to the need center to avoid the pain of that need being ignored. The child thinks, if I have no needs, I cannot be disappointed. If I am a fortress, I am safe. The tragedy is that as an adult, this fortress is still standing, even though the war is over. You're still living like a soldier in a bunker, seeing every invitation for closeness as a potential breach of security. You've become so good at being alone that being with someone feels like losing yourself. As an adult, that survival mechanism doesn't go away. It just gets more sophisticated. Psychologists call these deactivating strategies. These are subconscious kill switches, designed to dampen your feelings of longing and intimacy, so you can maintain your sense of independence. It's important to note that avoidant attachment isn't a monolith. There are generally two types, and knowing which one you are changes everything. First, there's dismissive avoidant. These individuals genuinely believe they don't need others. Their brain has become so good at suppressing the attachment system that they often feel quite high self-esteem and bulletproof. They view others as needy and themselves as rational. They take pride in their independence. But this strength is actually a rigid shell that prevents any real warmth from getting in or out. They aren't just avoiding others, they are avoiding their own emotion. Then there's fearful avoidant, or disorganized. This is a painful mix of anxious and avoidant. You desperately want the closeness, you crave it. But the moment you get it, you are terrified of being betrayed or hurt. It's like having one foot on the gas and one foot on the brake at all times. You might experience intense swings where you are very affectionate one day and completely cold the next. It is an exhausting state of high alert. Neurologically, when an avoidant person gets close to someone, their amygdala, the brain's alarm system, starts firing. Even though there is no physical danger, the brain interprets the loss of total autonomy as a threat to survival. That feeling of suffocation is literally your nervous system's fight or flight response. Your brain is telling you that being loved is as dangerous as being hunted by a predator. While a secure person sees a partner's reach as a hug, an avoidant person's brain sees it as a cage. This is where things get complicated in the dating wild. Avoidant individuals are statistically most likely to end up with anxious partners. It sounds like a match made in hell, but there's a psychological reason for it. Secure people often leave when they feel the avoidant person pulling away. They think, oh, this person isn't interested, and they move on. Anxious people, however, take that distance as a personal failure. They see the fortress and think they just need to try harder to climb the walls. They provide the pursuit that the avoidant person's attachment system recognizes from childhood. But here's the secret. Inside every avoidant person, even the most dismissive, is a deep, hidden longing for connection. The walls aren't there because you don't care. They are there because you care too much and you lack the tools to manage the vulnerability that comes with it. You're protecting a very soft heart with a very hard shell. You're not running away from the person, you're running away from the intensity of your own feelings. You're not stuck in this style forever. You can develop what psychologists call earned security. It requires rewriting the blueprint and teaching your nervous system that closeness does not equal control. It's about moving from a state of defense to a state of connection. Here's how you start. Start noticing the exact moment you start nitpicking your partner. Instead of believing the thought, they're so annoying, label it, this is a deactivating strategy. Ask yourself, did we just have a really close moment? Am I feeling exposed right now? Knowledge is the first crack in the wall. When you feel the urge to ghost, break up, or pull away, commit to a 24-hour rule. Acknowledge the feeling of being trapped, but don't act on it. Tell your nervous system, I am safe. I am an adult. I have the power to leave if I want to, but I am choosing to stay for 24 hours just to see what happens. Instead of disappearing, which triggers your partner's anxiety, give them a map. Try saying, I'm having a moment where I feel a bit overwhelmed by emotional intensity. It's not about you, it's my attachment style. I need 2 hours of cave time to recharge, and then I'll come back and we can talk. This builds trust while maintaining your boundary. It turns a rejection into a request. This is the hardest part. Share something you usually keep hidden. Not a big secret, just a small truth. I felt a bit lonely today, or I was worried about that meeting. Intimacy is a muscle. It only grows when you allow yourself to be seen in your unpolished state. Start small and notice that the world doesn't end when you show a crack in your armor. Ask yourself, is my independence a choice or is it a cage? Real strength isn't needing no one. Real strength is being able to lean on someone without losing yourself. Challenge the idea that being unmet is the same as being free.